Hey yo, what is up, Illuminati Madden League? Bradley here, and we are at it with another edition of the Illuminati Weekly. It is late for me at the moment. Right now, on my end, it is 3 a.m. in the morning. It's 3 a.m. in the morning, and gotta be up in like 5 hours, I think. It's fine. It's fine. Could be worse. Could be worse. Eh, my night's been fun. We'll get into it though. Um, First of all, right off the bat, as we kind of like dive into this edition of Illuminati Weekly, I want to start by saying thank you to to Jordan. I want to start by saying thank you to Jordan. We have been advancing at an absolutely insane rate. I believe like what I think we're in week 7 right now. I can't keep up, but I know the last two advances were basically 24-hour advances. Like we're like guys are getting their games in ridiculously quick right now. I can't keep up, and the like last two advances I wasn't able to make like the advanced graphics, and Jordan stepped up and did them, and the schedule one is a pain to make. At least on my end, it's not really a pain. It's just kind of a time-consuming process. Maybe the other guys who do graphics do it a lot quicker than me. They probably do because I'm kind of a novice at it, and they're the ones that actually know what they're doing. Regardless of Jordan, thank you. Um, and not just Jordan, but there are so many people that go into making the league what it is, right? We recently, a couple of days ago, put out in a new Illuminati magazine graphic that has a bunch of articles linked to it. We don't even have all the articles pushed out. My plan was to push the rest of them out tonight, last night. I don't know, it's like 3 a.m. right now, so technically it'd be last night, but like I haven't gone to bed yet, so it's still technically tonight, one of those type of things, right? But was going to push them out last night, tonight, whatever. But we got sidetracked with other things, and we'll get into that. But we should have the rest of the articles for the Illuminati magazine out hopefully tomorrow, tonight. I don't know. It's confusing. Whatever. But we should have them out within 24 hours. We'll say that. We'll say that the articles, the rest of the articles, should be out within 24 hours. They're already written. They're already done. Thank you so much to the article writers who wrote the articles. We need to finalize a couple like promotional graphics. So for those articles, and that's just something I need to sit down and do. I need to make the time for it, right? So that should be out. The rest of the articles should be out within 24 hours. So that's good times. Overall, looking at like kind of like the state of things right now and the state of the league, like we're rolling. Like we already touched on it, like the incredible rate in which we're advancing. I would love to keep it up, and I think it would be absolutely incredible if we just killed the rest of this season, right? Like we keep pumping out these quick advances, like we are. Like what is it, week 7? We could potentially be like gearing up for playoffs in 2 weeks. Like that would be something, right? That would be something. I'm just blown away with the rate in which we're advancing. It's really cool, really cool. And that there is a sign that is really like a sign of the overall health of the league, right? Advancing at such a high pace, that tells you that the community is invested, the community is involved, and the community is hungry. Guys are hungry, right? And not just like the guys who are winning. Like we got guys like taking L after L after L, and they're championing getting their games in. So it's really cool, really special. Um, I think the turnover is really starting to slow down. Turnover is really starting to slow down, and the waiting list is just ever growing. Um, I don't think we're going to be having a lot of turnover anymore. I say that, and I say that in the aftermath of tonight when we did have turnover. We had there was a scenario, there was an issue, and we had a guy roster dump on us. Um, However, if you hop onto the console right now and you look at that team, by the time the majority of you kind of get this, like, or like watching this, like, the roster is completely fixed and there's not a thing wrong with it. Every player is there. Everybody is in their proper position. Everybody is proper name. Every single contract is correct. The time and the effort that our roster dumper put into trying to destroy their team all went in vain because there's no longer any trace of that fingerprint on the league, nor will there ever be a trace of it. The trace of that fingerprint is just forever removed. I say that I think turnover is about heavily slowed down, and we just had that. The person who did this was someone they only got in the league because it was late in the season last season, and our waiting list had really thinned out. The waiting list had really thinned out, and the person was active, right? The person was active in the community, so they were basically kind of this unproven person that only got a shot because we had nobody else lined up. And now we got like an insane amount of people queued up that are like, how do you choose between them? Like, there's no easy decision on who to go to now. And like we're at a point where not only is the turnover drastically slowing down, but typically if somebody is being replaced, they were kind of a bum, right? They were kind of a bum, right? And the road only goes up. Like the guys we got on the waiting list right now, like, thank you. Like our guy who roster dumped on us, thank you. Thank you. I am glad you did that. I am glad you did that, and we can move on from your bum self. And now we can bring in a legitimate owner who's actually going to make the league better. So I'm really excited about bringing in a new owner. I think I already got a guy lined up, and if that guy does not work out right, because there's a chance the guy might not work out because the previous owner was a bum and they're not really leaving the team in a good state. The roster kind of sucks. So, yeah, the person didn't build a good roster. It's fine though. It's fine. It's fine. We should be able to. We'll find somebody. Um, my first choice. If my first choice doesn't pan out, we got a plethora of guys that are lined up um, that will jank a guy to get the spot. So we'll be good. We'll be good. I'm excited though to see who ends up getting the spot. Should be fun. Should be fun. Should be fun. Looking at the roster dump, right? This kind of leads me into something that's kind of been on my heart. I there are some things that are frustrating me. There are some things that are frustrating me, and I feel like this thing that is frustrating me played right into this roster dump. I think this roster dump could have been completely avoided. So I have no desire at all to police 31 owners. I have no desire at all to police 31 other human beings and be like, you're not playing Madden, right? Leave. Like, I have zero desire to do that. If you want a league where like everybody's going to be policed and you better be in line or you're going to get hit with the ruler, right? Like, that's not this league. Like, I'm not going to be able to deliver that to you, and I'm not going to be able to make you happy. If you want a league where everything is policed, that's not here. I listen, listen. I'll be honest. Like, you come at me complaining about something, like my immediate response, like the first thing I think in my head is, "Oh my God, quit crying, take your L, move on to the next game." Like, that's going to be the first thing that runs through my head, right? And like, you might be like, "Oh, that's a little harsh," but hear me out. Hear me out. Pay attention to who complains, right? Pay attention to who complains, and I promise you it will be the same people every single week, right? There are certain people, I look at their games and I see they're playing someone good, and I'm just going to expect there's going to be a complaint that comes from this. And complaints are one thing, right? Complaints are one thing. Another thing is how you handle the complaints and kind of your expectation with it. The scenario that led to the roster dump began with two owners playing a game. The game was not going how one owner thought it should have, and said owner began to complain. Said owner began to use the scheduling thread as a platform to raise complaints against the person. And then there was shade given out, like, I'm clipping everything and I'm going to have proof on everything and all kinds of other stuff. And like, it turned into this big, massive tirade of drama in chat. And all of this playing out, the person that the complaints are being raised against, the person's freaking out, thinking like they're about to get booted because all of these complaints are being levied against them. And like, they reach out to me in DMs, and like, I'm busy. I don't have time to like stop what I'm doing every single time someone complains about something and immediately say, "Oh, okay, yeah, let me hold your hand and we'll figure this out together," right? Like, I don't have time to do that. Like, I seen it, like, yeah, I'll deal with it later. By the time later comes around, everything had escalated, and bam, a team is completely dumped and destroyed. What would have happened? What would have happened if the scheduling thread was not used as a platform to complain? What would have happened if there was really like, if there was no public drama, right? What would have happened? Would we have had a scenario where there was a roster dump and I have to invest 4 hours, 4.5 hours of my time in fixing this team? Like, would we have had that scenario? The answer is absolutely not. The person that roster dumped, and this does not make it okay at all. Like, roster dumping is, it is like the ultimate sin within the CFM community, right? Um, but like, the person thought they were getting ready to get kicked, and I wouldn't have kicked the person. I would have been like, okay, let's find a solution, right? That would have been my response. Like, let's find a solution to this problem. Like, this is the problem. Let's own the problem. Let's find a solution. But with the way that all of the other chat had gone, all the other public chat had gone, the person was convinced they were going to be kicked. So instead of like allowing, I guess the person thought, instead of allowing the league to kick them, they were going to kick the league. It all could have been avoided if the situation was handled more properly. I think when issues pop up, there's two ways to handle it. Route number one: go complain in chat and demand immediate action. Route number two: acknowledge the problem, reach out and say, hey, this is a problem, just letting you know. And then in the aftermath of that, we resolve the problem privately and respectfully. The whole everything that led to this roster dump, it was not a private thing, it was not a respectful thing, it was drama, right? Two ways to handle things. Like there's been a couple other scenarios over this week, and there was one scenario, right? There was one scenario where we've had coming into this new season. I don't remember if it was this week or last week, right? But coming into season number 2, we had a little bit of turnover, right? And there's a collection of new owners as we move into season number 2 and early on in season number 2. One of our new owners was playing another owner, right? An established owner. And as they're playing this person, the established owner, they begin to get incredibly upset. Why? Because the new owner, they said, he's pressing every single play. And our established owner was just wasn't having it. They reach out to me in DMs, so I will commend them for reaching out to me in DMs and handling it privately. Like, I will commend them for that. However, the person demands immediate action. The person wants immediate action. Like, this is something that has to be resolved right now, Brad. Stop everything you're doing and resolve this right now. You're not allowed to have a life. Resolve it right now. So I reach out to this new owner, right? And I'm like, yo, this team is complaining because he says you're pressing every single play. And like, I immediately then turn into the game, right? Because if I'm going to address an issue, I'm going to turn in to kind of watch things unfold and see what's actually going on. Like, I'm not, listen, you complain about something, I'm never going to take your complaint for what you're saying. I'm going to go back to the game footage. I'm going to go back to the film, and I'm going to let the film speak, right? So I let the person know this, and I go in and I look at it, and I begin watching the game. Literally the first play that I'm there, and the new owners on defense, they opt not to press, right? And the owner that they're playing is known for certain routes that are very good against your receivers having kind of like space, right? Having breathing room. And literally the first play I'm watching after the guy had been told don't press every play, like the guy hits one of those plays that they're known for, right? And the game was close up until that point, and then the established owner runs away with it after the new owner stop pressing every play or whatever. They begin to change their defensive style, and then a couple hours later, the new owner reaches out to me in frustration, and like, I forget everything the new owner said, but like, part of the spiel was, it really got in my head, you reaching out to me like that or whatever. It really got into my head, and I just didn't play the same, right? Like, my game was off, right? And like, I could see that. Like, I could tell watching it that the guy was off his game. The guy wasn't comfortable and all of that. You know, like, I don't know. Like our owners, like the guys we have in our league, like there's like, at this point, like, there's no weak link in our owners, right? There is almost no issue at all that would take place in any of your guys' games that I think I would need to turn in immediately. We have to resolve right now. Like, the guys we have are established guys. They are known guys. There's no weak link. Everybody knows the game. Everybody knows what they're doing, right? And listen, I have blind trust in all 32 of our guys that you handle your games professionally and with integrity and with honor and all of that jazz. And I am confident that I don't have to turn in immediately to hold your guys' hands and make sure you guys are following the rules right. If you have an issue with a game, reach out to me and we'll look into it in the future. Like moving forward, I'm not dropping everything I'm doing to come hold your guys' hands. You guys know what you're doing, right? Like take care of your crap. Like this is all right. Yeah. I'm not gonna go into that one. I was gonna go into another one, but we're not gonna go into that one. We've looked at some bad examples. We've looked at some bad examples as to how to handle things. I think a more proper way to handle things. It was a couple advances ago. I forget exactly which advance it was, but it was Dash's Packers lined up with H. Coke's Panthers, right? Dash's Packers, H. Coke's Panthers is actually game of the week. We ran a commentary stream on it twice in that game. H. Coke broke a rule twice in the game. One, he playmakered. He playmakered on like I think it's a fake PAT or something, right? He playmakered on a fake PAT. Per the rules, you cannot playmaker. And then there was another rules violation. I think it was like he moved a guy right on defense, moved a guy pre-snapped, and then went to a different user. I think that's what the second rules violation was, but I forget. But it was two rules violations of rules that they're like black and white rules. Like either you're in adherence to the rule or you're breaking the rule. So we had two clear rule violations, and what did Dash do? Dash didn't raise any stink or drama in chat. I told Dash I'd handle it, and then it was left at that. Like Dash didn't even like ask for a follow up. Do you know what that is? That's trust in the league. And if you're incapable of having that same trust that Dash had in the league, then maybe the league's not for you, right? Like if you're incapable of trusting the leadership of the league, then maybe the league's not for you. And like if that's the case, then like I understand, and I would happily help you find a league that you feel like is for you. The scenario with H. Coke and Dash, it was handled outside of the game. H. Coke, there was discussion with H. Coke, there was discussion with league staff, there was a suspension handed down. Both of H. Coke's starting two receivers were suspended in the following game, and which was against the Giants, and H. Coke lost that game. He did not play either of his two starting receivers in that game. They were both suspended. They did not take a single snap. They did not have a single catch. Nothing. They had nothing. And H. Coke lost the game. So Giants was, I think that was also H. Coke's first loss on the season, and Giants was incredibly loud in flexing that win. I wonder what it would have been like if H. Coke would have had his weapons. I don't know. I was throwing that out there. Like, I don't know, you know. But yeah. On the topic of rules, right? Like, I think there's there's two types of rules that we have in our league. There are your clear black and white rules. H. Coke's violations in the game against Dash, they were clear black and white rules. And then there are rules that are not so clear. And like, I try and avoid these type of rules. Like in theory, I want our rules to be like clear black and white, like you know you're good or you're not, right? But there are other rules that are not so clear, right? There are other rules that are not so clear. Example, like you gotta have like a percentage of running plays and a percentage of passing plays, right? You have to have a percentage of running plays and a percentage of passing plays. However, like those are calculated kind of from like an end of season perspective, right? So you could have a game where theoretically like you ran the ball like 5 times and then you pass the ball far more than what you should be, right? According to like the percentages, and the percentages may be off for a game, but it's fine because we're kind of playing it from like an end of game perspective, end of season perspective. However, despite that, every single game you're expected to run the ball and pass the ball. And like it gets even more vague when you look at defense, because on defense you're expected to run man. You're expected to run man. You're expected to run zone coverage. You are expected to kind of not use the same repeating concepts, and that there's something on offense as well, because like you can change your plays, you can make adjustments, and create kind of like the same concept through like audibles and hot routes and all that jazz. Like you're expected to mix up your play calls. You're expected to mix up what you do. And like when you begin to like get into the territory of like you're expected to mix it up, you're expected to like play a diverse play style, like it gets very, I don't know what the word is, like really the only way, like for example, say like, where am I trying to go with this? Like it's like that's so hard to enforce. Like it is the expectation, and like trying to like it's very hard to enforce. Like you're expected to run man and run zone, but like you can't look at a stat that says how many run plays and how many zone plays you ran, right? So in order for me to actually know the amount of run plays or the amount of like man plays and the amount of zone plays that somebody ran, I literally have to go through and watch the entire game and literally go down and make notes of every single play you run on defense. So if someone comes to me and they're like, hey, Brad, this person is running zone every game or every play. This person's running man every play. And you're expecting me to go do something about that. What you're saying to me is, Brad, you need to go watch this game and make notation of every single play and every single adjustment that the person does. You need to spend several hours of your life doing this. And not only that, right? Because like if it's really a problem, it's going to be more than just one game. You need to go watch multiple games. Like, no. No. I have a life beyond the league, and I am not going to dedicate multiple hours of my life to go and just completely dissect footage of some other guys' games. Like I'm not doing it. I have confidence that our guys are on top of their crap. I have confidence that we have a pool of owners that are going to play a diverse play style. And if we continue to get constant complaints on somebody doing something, then we'll address it. And it's really not that complicated, right? It's not that complicated, because if you see someone doing something and they're not like diversifying their play calling, or you see someone kind of repeatedly going to the same thing in an unhealthy manner, do you know what I'm going to do before I ever go and completely dissect a game? Before I ever go and completely dissect multiple games, I'm going to reach out to that person that the complaint has been on. And I'm going to say, hey, this is what I'm being told. Will you reflect on what I'm being told, assess your play style, and diversify your play call, right? And a lot of times, right, if someone is doing something constantly, it's probably in response to what you're doing. Like I had a game recently where I think I ran like man coverage almost like the entire second half with very little diversity in it. Why? Because I found that when this particular user I was playing, I found that they completely dissected the zone, no matter what zone I threw at them. But then when I matched them up with man, when I manned up, when I manned up on them, they struggled massively. So my playstyle was a response to what was being thrown at me. It's not that complicated, guys. Like, we have an amazing group of owners, and I'm not trying to police you guys. Like, if you want a league that is policed to the utmost max, like, it's not going to be here. I'm not going to be able to make you happy. I'm not going to be able to fulfill what you want. I'm going to disappoint you. I have no interest in policing the league. No interest in policing the league at all. What I want is a community. The owners within our league, they all matter to me. I do not want to lose a single owner we have. Like, I speak high praises on our waiting list, right? Like, we have an amazing waiting list. But if we did not have one team turnover for the rest of the cycle, I would be completely content. I think if you've been around me in the past and like ran leagues with me in the past, like, that's not something that like I would normally say, right? Because like I'm normally big on, okay, this guy over here, he's a bum. Let's move on from him. Let's cut him off. He's a weak link, right? Like that's normally my mentality. Let's find the weak link and let's improve. But I think we have an amazing group of guys, and like I don't want to lose anybody we have in our league. Like I have a great fondness for every single one of our guys, and I don't want to lose a single one of you. And if there are issues raised against any of you, my mentality, unless you do something absolutely completely stupid, is never going to be, okay, let's axe this guy. My mentality is, hey, this is the issue that has come forth. Let's find a way to make it right and redeem the issue at hand. That's what I'm going to do. Like, I'm not out for blood. So it's been a long night. I probably shouldn't be recording Illuminati Weekly in the aftermath of resolving this roster dump that took place. Probably not the most healthy frame of mind to be operating from. How deep are we into this? I mean, if it's like 10 minutes, I'll just like cut it and we won't use the footage. But I think we're significantly beyond that. Oh yeah, we're like at 33 minutes right now. I gotta kind of like squirm down and look down because like my camera right there is blocking the timestamp, which is basically like right below the camera. Yeah, I should probably move my camera at a different spot, but it's a good spot. It's a good spot. Whatever. We've spent 33 minutes talking about drama. Oh my god, you guys make me miserable. And I could have kept on going to. There's another scenario that really, oh my god, if I had hair, I'd pull it out. There's another issue from complaints out. Oh my, guys, stop complaining. I don't care. Okay, we spent all this time talking about all this crap, right? There's something very good that is taking place in the league right now, and that is the Philadelphia Eagles. There is only one undefeated team left in the league. Jumper's Eagles. Jumper is a user, right? That I feel like at every turn, anytime, I feel like I constantly say, I feel like it's something that I've said a lot over the years. But Jumper is a high quality owner. He's a high quality user with an impressive skill level. He has struggled in being consistent in the past. He has had times when he has struggled, and people, when they look at Jumper, I think they see the struggles that he's had, and like I say a lot, that he's legit. And I feel like the majority of the time when I say that, people kind of blow it off like, no, that's just Brad talking crap. But I have been praising Jumper for a very long time, and now here we are, things like week number 8 or something. Jumper is the only undefeated team left in the league. He's the only undefeated team left in the league. His offense is the 3rd highest scoring offense. His rushing offense is the number 1 rushing offense. His defense is the 4th best in the league. Basically a top 10 passing defense, the number 2 rushing defense. He is having an absolutely incredible year. His quarterback is over 70% completions. Hasn't thrown a lot of touchdowns. However, like, what he's doing isn't being led through the air, right? Like, he's only thrown 5 passing touchdowns on the year, so like that's a little sus, right? That's a little sus. However, he's got this rookie running back, right? He's got this rookie running back. Dude's got 95 speed, 94 accelerations, absolute monster. The guy is an absolute monster. I'm trying to pull up the game log real quick. Okay, here it is. Week number 1, he ran for, this rookie running back, Joe Grove, ran for 265 yards. Week number 2, he ran for 170 yards. Week number 3, he ran for 156 yards. Week number 4, he ran for 173 yards. Week number 5, 123. Week number 6, 212 yards. Week number 7, 110 yards. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. All right, hang on. So he's already 1,209 yards. Let me pull up a calculator because I can't do math. All right, calculator, here we go. 1209 divided by 7. So he's averaging, get this running back, Joe Grove, is averaging 173 yards a game. So if we times that by 17 games, Joe Grove is going to be pushing 3,000 yards on the year. If we times his average by 17 games, it's 2,941 yards a game. Will Jumper go undefeated? I don't think so. I don't think he'll go undefeated, right? The lack of production through the air, like, he's not going to go undefeated. Like, you got to, like, I don't think you're going to be able to. I don't know if Jumper can win it all. I don't know if Jumper will be able to make it to the playoffs and go all the way through the playoffs and win the bowl. Like, I don't know if you'd be able to do that without a legitimate passing game. The passing numbers aren't extravagant. One good thing for him, though, is the completion percentage is over 70. So that's good. While there's not a lot of touchdowns, there is 6 interceptions. That is less than 1 a game, though. But compared to, excuse me, apologies. But compared to the amount of touchdowns thrown, 5 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, like, you don't want to see that. But, yeah. What was I even saying now? Oh, yeah, the Jumper is going to eventually play someone that's going to be able to stop the run game, right? He's going to eventually play someone that's going to be able to stop the run game. And when that happens, like, will he be able to compete in the same manner? Will he be able to hang with the top? And then you make it to the playoffs. Surely someone through the playoff run is going to be able to stop the running game. Like, it can be done, right? And the running back is also only a star dev. So he doesn't have superstar abilities or X Factor abilities or anything like that. How scary would that be if Joe Grove had abilities, right? But he doesn't. He doesn't. I wonder how many bitch Jumper has. Let me see real quick. Let me see real quick. Coins. Jumper. 817, so he doesn't have a lot. What are you spending on, Jumper? Like, why aren't you saving to dev up that? Whatever, man. You do you. Alright, but yeah, Joe Grove is just having an absolutely monster year. And, like, you look at that, you see, like, the numbers he's put up, and you see he's undefeated. You have to ask the question of who has he played? Has he beat anybody? So week number 1, he beat the Patriots. Patriots isn't impressive, right? So he should win that. Week number 2, plays Steady's Dolphins, and Steady is recognized as a top tier talent, so legitimate win. Week number 3, win over Daring, meh. Week number 4, win over WV George and the 49ers. George is an interesting take. I think George has what it takes to compete at a high level, but he's not competing at a high level. But I think he's better than kind of what we've seen, right? Week number 5, he hands Frank and his Rams his first loss in the league. I honestly thought for sure that Frank was going to mop the floor with Jumper, and that's not what happened at all. Jumper goes in, and Jumper beat Frank. Week number 6, he plays the Washington Commanders and wins 34-28. We have a new Commanders owner, and is it good? We'll see. I have a history with this Commanders owner. However, it's been a while since like I've really been around him, so I really can't say if he's good. Every encounter that I've had with him in the past, he's always been good, so I'm gonna say he's good. And in week number 7, he beat Cheech's Seahawks 66-21. So is he good? 66-21 versus Cheech. So I'd say he's pretty good. He's pretty good. I'd say he's pretty good. And Jumper beat him, it looks like 34-28. Then in week 7, Jumper played the Giants, beat them 38-14. I think the Giants are a team that have the potential to be a playoff team. I could see the Giants making the playoffs in the league. I don't know if they'll have like a big. I wouldn't put my money though on our Giants owner though, having a big playoff run, right? So overall though, looking at like the opponents that Jumper has played so far, like I like he's had a couple easy games in there, right? Like Patriots was an easy one. But beyond that, like I don't really see a game that's like a freebie win, right? Like Daring and WV George aren't the highest tier opponent, but I'd put them like middle of the pack, right? And Giants might not be like an elite level player, but I'd put them above average. But like I think the win over Steady is a statement win. The win over Frank is a statement win. And then the win over the Commanders owner Sundance, that's a statement as well. So I mean, I look at these games. And Jumper with this 7-0 record, he's got several statement wins here. Like I don't look at this like season that he's had so far and be like, he's being handed it with like a kick schedule, right? He's had a very impressive season thus far. So good job, Jumper. I'm rooting for you, man. Finish strong, finish strong, make the playoffs, get the 1 seed, go deep into the playoffs. And Jumper, I would love it. I would absolutely love it. If I would be thrilled, tickled pink. I would be tickled pink, Jumper, if you made it all the way to the playoffs and we slap your name on the belt, right? Like that would be great. Let's make that happen. So go and own it, my guy. And as we close, as we wrap up Illuminati Weekly, this is probably, as we kind of go out, this is probably the most important thing that we've done the entire these closing comments are going to be the absolute most important comments made in the entire show. Evo, 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 Evo.